Hello, friends. You know, life is a study of contrasts, and I thought I'll take out two rifles that are entirely different, yet serve in some ways the same purpose, and that is hunting. And I'm sure you've run into people in the bush if you've hunted long enough. I remember who used unique firearms or maybe unnotable firearms. I remember running into one guy who used a Savage 99, 250, 3000, and or often called the Savage 250. And he had shot everything with that gun for his entire life. It wasn't in bad condition, considering all of the use that it had been put through. Another guy I ran into used a Springfield. I've run into guys using 303s. They do all the hunting and living that the rest of us hope to do, except their lives are really hunting. Their lives are really in the bush. Majority of us, me included, have all these guns and think about this life that we're going to have doing all these things, but we're too busy. It doesn't happen. Anyway, I thought I'll show two guns that are quite different, and yet either one can serve completely well. And maybe some of you have seen this, maybe you haven't. It's an old Savage Model 340. They were also sold by Stevens. This is like an economy grade gun. It has a removable magazine. A first thing you can notice is that the trigger guard is sheet metal. The bottom metal is screwed onto the wood as opposed to being inletted into the wood. This is the release for the magazine, which is kind of crude. It's just the lever itself is a spring, but it works. And by the way, I've had a few of these, and they're all very accurate. The head spacing is accomplished by means of this collar, and that's still being used by Savage on their Model 10s and 12s and all the rest of that. I've lost track. It's an easy way to accomplish head space in a factory. The locking lugs, well, there's only one, and I'll set it here. That's what locks this gun, that one locking lug. And then a secondary lug is the bolt handle itself, and this is chambered for the 30-30. Some of them were in 225 Winchester and maybe other calibers, but that's the bolt for this. And I always bring out the gold standard. This is a Mauser 98. Locking lug, safety lug, and the bolt handle turns into the action. So, the Mauser is locked. Everything would have to fail. These would have to fail. This is from a Siamese Mauser, so it isn't exactly a Mauser 98 clone, but lugs here, if those fail, which they never would really, there's a safety lug and then the bolt handle. And the little Savage 340 chugs along with the one locking lug like a Krag, and then the bolt itself. And have I ever seen this fail? No. You can see the simple extraction system. Reminds me of a 22. And of course the 30-30 is a rimmed round, so there are advantages to that and disadvantages, but they get it to work. I actually really like these Savage 340s, partly because of their simplicity, and in a sense they show how little money you can tie up and still have a completely acceptable rifle. And I should have shown you the bolt removal. Just pull the trigger back, and to put it in, pull the trigger back again. It locks up okay. It's a little bit rough in here, but I mean it's a machine, so it's fine. I've never had, like I said, I've never had any problem. The trigger's maybe a little bit heavy, but that's no big deal. It has a cute barrel band here that goes through to the stock, and this particular one is the carbine model. A lot of fun to shoot, and it looks like the factory has included quite a few holes here, so I'm assuming that's for a side mount scope. And I forgot one of the most important things is take a look at this rear receiver bridge. So this is split, so the bolt rides back through the rear receiver ring. So you can't really have a typical scope mounting system, but there's nothing wrong with side mounts, and that's in 30-30. And then it has something like, in a way, Winchester lever action sights. It's not a full buckhorn, it's a semi buckhorn sight. And then the front sight is screwed onto the barrel, and the whole thing comes together. You probably can pick this gun up for $200 or $250, and you know, given the right circumstances and you do your part, you probably hunt it for a lifetime and never need any other gun. 30-30 is fine. Plenty of moose have been harvested with 30-30s. I'm not suggesting that's the ideal cartridge. And then the contrasting gun, which I won't go into detail on, I did a full review on this actually on Patreon, so I mean, maybe I'd look at that, or I'll do something else. Anyway, this one is the Heim SR21. It's called the Super Classic model, and if you want to buy a modern rifle that is as refined as the British rifles, including a removable magazine and a 60-degree bolt lift with 3 locking lugs, I mean, this gun is perfection. It has the African sights. The stock was designed by Ralph Martini and so on. But I don't know how Patreon works, whether you can have a peek at it or not, but I made a longer video there. So for the people, there were actually requests, say something about these Savages and Stevens, the old ones. So I thought I'll show you this one. I had good luck. This one's flat new, but 35 or older more years old, and still excellent. And you know, when I handle a gun like this, it just makes me want to go after whitetail with something like this. And I guess that's all I have to say about this fine little, inexpensive, in a way very clever rifle with 1 locking lug. That's it. Thanks for watching.